Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good morning, my name is Thomas Adams, and here are your sports headlines to 11:30. The Vancouver Canucks take on the Chicago Blackhawks tonight at Rogers Arena in Vancouver. Vancouver-born Connor Bedard will be coming to play his third game in his hometown against the Canucks. The Canucks are hopeful that winger Connor Garland and center Tenny Bluger will be back in the lineup today after they've been seen taking practice with the team this morning. This would be a big boost for the Canucks while managing to keep their heads above water as the league's most injured team. They will look to get their second win against the Blackhawks this season. The Toronto Blue Jays will be facing Team Canada next year ahead of the 2026 season and the World Baseball Classic. The game will be played March 3rd, 2 days before the World Baseball Classic will begin. In this game, Canadian first baseman Freddie Freeman is expected to be facing the Jays once again after beating them for the 2025 World Series title. A big question mark will be in the tournament for Canada's first baseman Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and where his loyalties will lie. Born in Canada, Guerrero could opt to play for either Team Canada or Team Dominican Republic. His decision is unknown as the young star was sitting out the previous tournament in 2022, recovering from injury. Canada usually receives a mixed bag of players between the major and minor leagues to fill out their roster. There is no doubt that Guerrero would be a huge boost to the Canadian lineup. Other notable Canadians in the major leagues include defensively talented outfielder Denzel Clark for the Athletics and power hitter Tyler O'Neill, who played for the Baltimore Orioles this previous season. In soccer, FIFA is coming to town, and they have announced the creation of a Peace Prize, which it plans to award for the first time at the World Cup draw on December 5th in Washington. The FIFA Peace Prize will recognize exceptional actions for peace according to soccer's governing body. FIFA President Gianni Infantino emphasizes the importance of acknowledging those who work to end conflicts and promote unity. FIFA says the award will be presented annually. Infantino will present the prize this year. Staying with soccer, Montreal has fired assistant coach Maxime Leconte following an internal disciplinary process. The Major League Soccer club announced the move Wednesday but did not reveal the reason for the Leconte's dismissal, citing confidentiality. Leconte, a 35-year-old native of France, only spent a few months with the club after joining the coaching staff in May. His dismissal comes 2 weeks after Marco Donadel was named CF Montreal's permanent head coach. The Toronto Raptors take down the Milwaukee Bucks last night at a score of 128-100. The Raptors dominated play, outscoring the Bucks in every quarter of the game. The Raptors even up their record at 4-4 while hoping to get star centerman Jakob Poeltl back at 100%. The centerman has been dealing with back pain. He played restricted minutes yesterday but managed to put up 8 points.
I think I'm still a little bit away from feeling 100%, but I'm pretty happy about how today went. I felt pretty good for the most part. There was some couple phases where it stiffened up a little bit, but for the most part I felt good. So hopefully I can continue to manage it and just continue to get better.
Star forward Scotty Barnes put up a stellar performance of 23 points, 3 rebounds, and 6 assists. Toronto's next game will be against the Atlanta Hawks on Friday. The new PWHL Vancouver team has announced a series of theme games that they will be hosting at the Pacific Coliseum this upcoming season. The events include celebrations of diverse and ethnic backgrounds with many giveaways throughout the season. The season will also see a multitude of bobblehead giveaways. Their home opener November 21st against Seattle will see them give away rally towels to all fans in the stadium. The NFL trade deadline has come and gone yesterday, with it being one of the biggest events that we've seen in recent history.
Several big names are on the move around the NFL in deals made prior to Tuesday's trade deadline. The Jets traded two-time All-Pro cornerback Sauce Gardner to the Colts for 2 first-round draft picks and receiver Adonai Mitchell. New York also dealt All-Pro defensive end Quinnen Williams to the Cowboys for a first, a second, and defensive tackle Mozzie Smith. Dallas acquired linebacker Logan Wilson from Cincinnati. The Seahawks acquired All-Pro wideout Rashid Shaheed from the Saints. The Raiders dealt receiver Jacoby Myers to the Jaguars, and the Chargers added tackle Trevor Penning. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
Thank you for tuning into your sports headlines. Have a great rest of your day.
This is 1680 The Crow, and you're listening to our feature presentation.
Coming to tuck you in while you're sleeping. Sweet screams.
Halloween. It's a time for kids and adults to celebrate everything spooky and crazy. But what are the underlying factors of Halloween? That's the question that I'm asking.
What I think about Halloween is how people all dress up as a community, they have fun, they have good treats, and then they all come together.
I'm your host, Thomas Adams, here with my co-host, Jonah Jung, and today we will be discussing Halloween on this episode of The Deadly Discussion. And we will be looking at what kind of communities Halloween represents and builds. Welcome back to The Deadly Discussion. I'm your host, Thomas Adams, here with my co-host, Jonah Jung, and today we will be talking about Halloween and how it impacts the community and the correlation between Halloween and the tight-knit bond that the community has.
Yeah, so for me, I think Halloween is a place where, all the people, as I aforementioned, they gather all together. And then you can just knock on the door of your neighbors and say hi, and then just give each other some pleasantries, and then hang out with some kids, go trick or treating.
Yeah, and for me, I found Halloween to be a place that is very, very spooky. We really do a lot of...
Whoa! Shoot! Bro, get out of here, get out of here.
For those of you who do not know, I arranged a little ruse to scare my co-host, Jonah. And some other kids at our program here just came and gave him a little scare. What'd you think about that?
That was, the best surprise that I could get. A little bit unexpected. But it lives up to the theme.
You don't even have time to scream.
That is what I think Halloween is kind of all about. It's about ghastly, ghouly things. However, it's really about having fun. That's the thing. And, when I think of fun, I think of a lot of places where you can go trick-or-treating. And, I found one great place to trick-or-treat is Burkeville on Sea Island in Richmond. Now, I chatted with Tomas Ravotsi, president of the Sea Island Community Association, about what events they'll be hosting this year.
The houses along the front lines, so to speak, I hope I'm not making too many military sounding references here, but basically the entrance where people would first show up in our neighborhood, those houses get in excess of 1,000 kids coming to trick or treat. Like around 1,200 is, I think, the number that we had reported. That's the highest number we've heard approximately. And so my house is set back a little bit, so it's a few streets back. And even here, I get between 500 and 700 kids on the night.
Yeah, so that's a interesting and very informative comment from your interviewee. And I just learned that is a very small community, and Burkeville is a place where that was built in like 1940s after the World War II during the World War II for people who make airplanes to stay and just find housing.
Yeah, I mean, talk about going all out. I mean, I live currently in Marpole, and there's not as many trick-or-treaters. Like, I think my house would get maybe 7 trick-or-treaters each year. like the fact that they're getting 700 to 1,200 trick-or-treaters is just kind of mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, so there must be a lot of children. Did he say anything about like how he manages that place or how he keeps it safe?
Yeah, so there's a lot of factors when it comes to Halloween, of course. Arranging where everyone will be walking, and, safety and driving is a lot of things to consider. So pretty much what Mr. Tomas said was that they're trying to not have cars in Burkeville. They're just trying to have it pedestrian only, and they're preparing for outside visitors because it's become such a hot spot.
Put mitigation sort of measures in place. So we have traffic control that the city offers us. I think the RCMP also, their traffic authority department also comes to help to control traffic. We have a system of, we experiment with different kinds of systems and different kinds of traffic management plans. But essentially we kind of have, we try our best to pedestrianize the neighborhood on that night, meaning we provide free parking at BCIT just across the street at the aerospace campus. Again, that's in part thanks to YVR's kindness there, so we're really grateful for that. And there's a walking path right from BCIT, right beside the City of Richmond's fire hall, and it's decorated by city staff, and that leads directly to our neighborhood and to our park. And the park is where our association, we do actually put on a fireworks display at 8:15 or so in the evening. And we fund that, but often at a loss. So that's one thing that, if you don't mind, I'll put in a little plug here. If you do plan to come and visit Burkeville, you may see donation QR codes around the neighborhood. So any support, any donations that you can provide are very welcome. They really help us out because we are a nonprofit organization here.
I do find it so interesting that's all community run, and if people are commuting there, I mean, I think it's nice if they help out, because they're attending this event just like any other.
Yeah, I think it was very fascinating that all the community members are doing their best to keep it safe, and then for the Halloween, and then how statistically, a lot of people, have died trick or treating, like especially children age from like 4 to 8 die the most on Halloween night, around like 5 to 9 p.m. normally when people go for trick-or-treating. And then, a lot of cars are coming by. So, like Burkeville, I heard that they're trying to pedestrianize the neighborhood. And also in Vancouver, Lucy Maloney, the Vancouver councillor, suggested a motion that the neighborhood should be able to host a block party to keep the cars off the street so that they can go trick-or-treating. And
so when I referred to accessibility in the motion, I'm referring to making it easier for people to apply for and receive block party permits, but also at the moment people are required to hire their own barriers to close the streets, and that makes it difficult for some people to be able to organise block parties because they might have to travel to South Vancouver to pick up the barriers and return them. So that rules out a lot of people that if they don't have a car to transport the barriers.
That's great. I think you have to, when you're taking into consider the amount of people that these parents really only and community members are trying to organize, it's hard to find people who are accountable. So being accessible to safety is really the main thing.
Yeah, I also agree with you, Thomas, because a lot of children, they go out trick-or-treating and they're in costumes, and then it's kind of hard for them to focus on safety as well. They're preoccupied with getting treats and knocking on people's doors. I think this is very important to kind of secure that area and then make it car free so that they can go freely and they can go free from one place to another. And then so I think that's something that we can call a good change for the Halloween, actually.
To my presence, for I may take out my aggressions on you next time.
to ask you something. How do you normally celebrate your Halloween? What was it like during your childhood?
Oh, thanks for asking. Yeah, so my childhood, I would always go out trick-or-treating, and my parents would come with us. We didn't get many trick-or-treaters on our block because it was across from a street from the park, and we were the only house that gave out candy. But there was a little stuff every few blocks or so. There were houses that would decorate. It would just be a lot of walking, and we'd bring my dog, and me and my sister would go out, and it was really fun. But
Yeah, so I think walkability is also a huge issue actually, because when I think of my home country in Korea, I'm not from around here. They have very tightly highly populated apartment buildings, like 400 people live in one building. So it's very hard for them to go out trick-or-treating. And in terms of culture, we weren't always celebrating Halloween. It was more about we were more conservative on that issue. But after more foreigners started to come to Korea, Halloween became more known to people, and I think that's when people started to dress up.
And that brings me to my next point, is Halloween is more than just a celebration. You get to interact with so many people. You get to know all the kids in the neighborhood. Although I didn't know many people in the neighborhood that I was living in, when I became a teenager and I started going to my friends' neighborhoods, there was a lot more going on. And then I could see that everyone knew each other. And it was quite, it was quite an amazing experience knowing that people were looking out for each other. And now when I went to one of my close friends' communities, they have a really awesome Halloween lane, they call it. So pretty much all the kids from the neighborhood come to this lane, and people give out candy from, instead of their front door, their back door, and in the lane in their garage, and they always go all out. So I actually decided to go speak to one of the residents and someone who decorates for Halloween there. Her name was Hillary Tarver, and she's been living there for 40 years, and she has been decorating for about 15 years with the rising popularity of this.
Because we all socialize back and forth across the lane anyway, which is nice. And it's nice because you don't have to jump up and down from the front door, and the kids love it. We have a reputation. I think the maximum we've probably had is 1,500. That's including the parents. And so what we do is the first part of the lane is the non-scary part, like the younger children's part. And then we have a sign up and we warn them it's going to get scary.
Okay.
And that's the fun part to watch. Because, the little kids, they're like, oh no, I'll be fine. And then they come back scared. But
it seems like they organize a neighborhood so that people can go from one stage to another of enjoying the Halloween. What about experience that children can have? Did she say anything about that?
Yeah, so it's a great experience because they're all walking down one lane, and the neighbors really come together to make this a great experience for all the kids. It's a great way to get to know your neighbors, know their names, and really connect with them. That's what I talked to her a little bit more about as well. Yeah. What do you think is, do you think that this Halloween alley and everyone decorating and doing big trick-or-treating things is helpful for building the community?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We have a great community that way, and we know we're lucky.
Yeah. You know a lot of your neighbors and know what they're doing?
I know all of them, yeah.
Everyone?
Yeah, pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah, so, one thing that I really like about Halloween in North America is that you get to, meet with different neighbors and socialize with them. Something that doesn't happen often in Korean culture.
Interesting.
We're mostly, mainly focused on, ourselves and not reaching out to, strangers. So I think that's a great tradition.
Wow. That really brings us around to the point that I think Halloween is pretty much a representation of how tightly knit a community is. If they're doing lots for Halloween, it makes them, it means they care about their neighbors and their neighbors' kids and their experience they're having.
Yeah, I would also agree very much that how they celebrate Halloween, how they get together, and how they socialize with the neighbors is how Halloween should be celebrated.
Well, thank you very much. That concludes our time today on the deadly discussion. Here, I'm Thomas Adams with my co-host,
Jonah Jung.
and we will catch you on the next time. Have a happy Halloween, y'all.
Happy Halloween.